About a year ago now, I was making videos on Battlefield 2042. This is when the game was still quite new, when, there was somewhat of a community, but most importantly, when the game was going through an extremely rough patch. But look, Season 3 dropped today. Now, Season 3 as well as Update 3.0. Now, I want to say that one map per season is still not enough. For a modern, live service, first-person shooter, Fortnite wannabe, whatever, it's simply not enough content, because Spearhead is fantastic. It's absolutely the best map in the game. I just wish there was another 3 maps of similar quality. This map, to me at least, is what should have been in the game from the very beginning. This is how 2042 should have played, how it should have looked, how it should have felt from day fucking one. I'm angry it's taken a year for the game to get to this point, but it's not just a pretty map, alright? It's not just an experience with better atmosphere and presentation and whatnot. The gameplay that comes with Spearhead is fluid. It's juicy. I could honestly take a chunk out of this and I would feel no remorse whatsoever. The gameplay is a lot more grounded. It's very much akin to, I would say, Battlefield 5, maybe even some Battlefield 1 maps as well, in the fact that it's extremely linear, but there is of course some maneuverability to flank around. But as a general rule of thumb, you always have a front line, you know roughly where you're getting shot from. And there's a lot less of this bullshit verticality. You won't find that people are sat on top of the big cubes because you can't actually shoot over them. The wall is too high. It's almost like DICE actually fucking playtested this. It's crazy. So you'll find that you'll get killed a lot less by Sundance, C5 plays, McKay's flying around, sitting on top of shipping containers, which was the biggest issue with Stranded, the previous map. This map has very limited verticality and, at least in the outdoors areas, and to me that's better. I don't want verticality, or maybe a little bit, but knowing that there's enemies in front of you, there's enemies to your left and your right, and not having to worry about the behind, up 90 degrees, 180 degrees, that is so much better, and it feels better. Spearhead also proves to me, and probably most of the community, that 128 players can work, because it works so fucking well. In this map, 128 players feels crazy. It feels like how I imagined 128 players back when I was playing 32 player Conquest on the Xbox 360. Every flag has beef going down. There's incredible choke points in the interiors. You have a lot less open fields with a couple rocks and a couple boulders. Nothing is disjointed, it's very intimate, which is something 2042 has lacked up until this point. I also want to give Spearhead massive credit for being the first map which actually tries to include destruction and succeeds somewhat in doing so. So these big IKEA buildings, these 2 big cubes, which are in sort of the middle and then one at the end of the map, actually have destroyable exteriors. Don't get me wrong, this is just cosmetic damage. It doesn't necessarily do anything in terms of gameplay, but I appreciate that it's even there, because you can blow off these panels and they don't rubber band when they fall down. They don't, awkwardly clip into the building. The audio doesn't break. Even when the panels fall down and say they hit a shipping container, they'll react realistically, physics-based movement, which to me at least looks very similar to the Source physics. Now, I know that I'm getting a little bit close to DICE's boot right now, borderline sucking their toes, but I do have to say that an attempt at bringing destruction into this game is good, and I fucking know it should have been there since day one. But it's better late than never, especially for paying customers that have no choice but to play the game they dropped 60 to 120 Great British pounds on. Inside the IKEA cubes as well, when you're not picking up 50p hangers and getting lost or hiding in beds, there's actually a decent amount of environmental destruction. There's a clip which is playing on screen right now where I was kind of pinned in a corner. I was fucked. All of my teammates were dying. There was a lot of man around me, and I was huddled up in this corner just waiting for the sweet release of death. And all of a sudden, this wall to my left exploded. and behind it revealed 6 to 7 enemy team members all sat there trying to push the objective. It genuinely blew my mind. I was like, I did not expect that to happen because, you know, 2042 has no destruction, right? But this felt like straight out of that Saving Private Ryan scene where the wooden plank just knocks that wall down and it's just complete fucking chaos and confusion. Truly, it's dynamic and man, it feels like Battlefield, to me at least, 100%. And this is something which I want to end the video on because I can safely say that Spearhead feels like Battlefield. This whole experience, just Spearhead 128 players, should be the default way to play 2042. Like, there is no fucking doubt in my mind. This feels like Battlefield 4, especially with the 3D spotting which has been reintroduced, the reworking of vehicles. You know, all of it comes together on Spearhead to feel like a modern day Battlefield 4. And truly, in my first couple games of playing this map, I had insane amounts of only in Battlefield moments, and I'm not talking about the modern day only in Battlefield moments, you know, like, oh, I wingsuited behind them and I got a 5-man C5 kill. No, I'm talking like jets fucking spinning out of control, helicopters flying low, crazy shit happening, which reminded me why I love this franchise so fucking much. So all I'm trying to say is that this map slaps, and I just wish there was more of it to digest, because sooner or later it will grow tiresome. DICE, seriously, you actually did something right for this game, and I'm happy. I love you. No, that's too far. I can tolerate you. Cheers for watching, guys. If you enjoyed, leave a like on it, and as always, I'll catch you lot in a bit.